Obviously, you've been in the market interested in the Huawei MateBook Pro X if you're watching this video. And if this isn't the first video you are watching, then you obviously have seen some clickbaity titles, such as people calling this the most perfect laptop. Well, is it? Let's take a look together. Hello everyone, how are you? This is yours truly, Tech Gear Guy, coming at you once again with the laptop review video. And today what we're looking at is a Huawei MateBook Pro X. This extremely well built and svelte laptop comes in two different configurations. The one I am showing you today is a bit more cost effective one, boasting 8th generation Intel quad-core Core i5-8250U CPU along with 8GB of DDR4 RAM. In terms of storage wise, it is equipped with 256GB of M.2 NVMe PCIe solid state drive, which just screams. However, the highlight of this laptop, if I may show you, is the 13.9 3000 by 2000 3:2 aspect ratio LTPS screen, which is kind of like the IPS display panel, and the manufacturer states 178 degrees of a viewing angle. Now, I haven't really busted out any measurement tool to test if that's really true or not. However, the viewing angle from the side is actually really good. And what Huawei claims is 91% screen real estate space over here, and relation to that, the bezel very thin, only 4.4 millimeter. However, I must tell you that the narrow bezel, even though it is narrow, it is not quite as narrow as what you would see on Dell XPS laptop. Speaking of 4.4 millimeter bezel, let's talk about the dimensions real quick. This thing weighs 2.93 pounds of basically nothingness in terms of a laptop, and being a UltraBook, it does live up to its name. It is 12 inches this way, 8.5 inches this way, and it only stands 0.6 inches tall. The battery does last almost 8 hours. I don't know what Huawei is claiming actually. I haven't looked at that, but this is I'm showing you actually my Windows daily driver computer. So this is what I would take to my clients and I would sit there and use, and that's why it is also covered with dbrand skin, because I do want to protect my own computer. And the little maple tree fall sticker that you see on the trackpad also is there for that reason. Now, when I talk about battery life, it's normally based on actual real life usage. So I would have a Chrome with about a dozen tabs open, about 1.5 hours of YouTube consumption, and a lot of productivity work, whether that involves Word, PowerPoint, a lot of Excel stuff going on. I don't necessarily use this computer for any sort of a media content creation, and that's all done via my MacBook Pro here at the office. So I don't use this for that. However, office productivity work and stuff like that is what I would use to gauge the battery life. And when I say little short of a full work day, I was able to get about 7 hours and 40 minutes, and that's like I said, with a bunch of Chrome stuff going on, lots of audio, watching stuff, and then with the screen brightness right around 80%. This screen is very bright. Really, the screen is one of the highlight of this laptop. The 3:2 aspect ratio, which is something you might have seen if you are familiar with the Surface line of notebook from Microsoft, the Surface Pro. So instead of just like a 16:9 or a 16:9 type of aspect ratio you might see on other laptops, for productivity work like in Excel, you do have a little bit more vertical space that you can work with, so it works out really well with that. The screen colors are very bright. Now, if you have been watching my videos, I am color deficient in my eyes, so I'm not qualified to correctly tell you how accurate the colors may be or not. However, colors are vibrant, colors pop, look very good to my eyes, and really incredibly crisp display really works to the advantage of this laptop. In terms of a fit and finish, I mean, this is really well put together laptop. Apple obviously has been setting some high standards in terms of fit and finish, and this Huawei offering from China, it is just well built, very rigid, and just there's no flex anywhere. It's quality metal chassis. There is no plastic to be found, and it's really not that difficult to see that they drew heavy inspiration from MacBook. And I think the color of this model is actually even called space gray, which is how Apple calls one of their colors. In terms of the keyboard is very comfortable to type on. I don't know the specific measurement of what the travel is when you push down on the key. However, there's enough feedback, there's enough travel, very comfortable to type on all day. It does have more travel than what you find on MacBook and MacBook Pros. So if you are not a fan of that butterfly keyboard, you want a little bit more key travel and feedback, you will find this keyboard just suitable. However, is it like a ThinkPad keyboard? It's not. Trackpad is very large for the size of this laptop, and all the Microsoft Precision trackpad features are available here. And the button's very stiff the way I actually like it. In terms of audio, it actually has great stereo separation. Now, the marketing thing that comes with this model is the Dolby Atmos. I don't know whether that's really enhancing your audio experience or not. However, there are two top firing speakers and two bottom firing speakers, and they are more than serviceable as far as audio enjoyment is concerned. And of course, you want your laptop companies to come up with some innovation and things. So what they did with this computer is, because of the aforementioned the 4.4 millimeter bezel, there is really no room for any kind of a webcam placement. So what did they do? It is still a chin cam that looks straight up your nostril. However, what they did was they turned one of the center function keys into a click on pop-up button where the webcam will pop up only when you need it. So you don't have to have the ugly tape taped on in front of your webcam if you are concerned about the privacy and such. So is it perfect? No, it's not. However, I do praise Huawei for coming up with out of the box solution. So the placement and the way they did that, I think it's shows promise of what the companies can do later on down the road. So that's something that I enjoy. In terms of a port, I find it actually satisfactory. So you do have your audio jack, you have two USB Type-C, and one of them is a full Thunderbolt. And on the other side, you have the traditional USB Type-A. Now, you're not getting any sort of SD card and stuff like that here, but with the USB Type-A port and USB Type-C, two of them, you do have ability to expand as you see fit. Speaking of dongle life, and what Huawei does is actually really nice. Apple stripped out all the ports away from you. They never give you a expansion ability themselves, but Huawei does include this combination dongle thing that goes into your USB Type-C. You have USB Type-A pass right here, HDMI, VGA, and another USB Type-C. So it works very well. And a charger that they include is a 65 watt, and it's actually pretty decent size. It's smaller than the Apple's brick, and it works very well. It does support quick charge, so you do get about 80% charged within an hour. So it works really well. So at the end of the day, is this a perfect laptop? Well, not quite. Such thing as the chin cam's placement, the way it looks up, stuff like that does definitely leave room for improvement. However, the fact that how thin and light this is, and all the ability that the laptop provides, and just so well engineered with such perfection in terms of fit and finish, this comes damn near close. And if you're not tied to Apple ecosystem and you do need a Windows laptop for work, or that just happens to be your preference or not, then it's gonna be really hard to find a Windows laptop UltraBook, especially that does better than this particular model. You do have other things in this market, things like Dell XPS, which competes directly against this model. XPS has a wider screen and does have slightly more usable keyboard, I want to say, and also it is a slightly smaller. So if that's more or less fitting your needs, then you could look there. But I mean, they are literally neck and neck in terms of build quality as well as usability. And the touch screen on this laptop that you get, although it does not support any kind of a pen, the touch screen is nice, and just really the screen is one of the very best highlights of this laptop, and bar none compared to anybody else. It's really well executed. So I really don't have much to fault, even if I want to get nitpicky with this, and that's the reason why this particular laptop happens to be a my main Windows computer. I do use a lot of Apple MacBook Pros for my work, but I do have to bust out Windows computer for my clients that require, you know, legacy Windows apps and things of that nature. So it does quite work well for me. All right, so with that, I am gonna wrap up this video. Hope I was able to get you something that's useful for you. And so this review was based on my actual heavy usage day in and day out. All right, thank you for watching. I've been Take Care Guy. You've been great. Until next time, everybody, take care.